Hello Raiders, it has been a minute since we've done a patch notes video. The Rust Belt Roundup. I'm not calling it that. Apologies, I've got hiccups. I'm going to keep re-recording these and hopefully it doesn't sound too janky. I am a little bit late to the party in terms of providing this update. There's a hiccup. Providing this update, but reason being, obviously the Marathon Server Slam came out. I've been playing a bit of Sea of Thieves as well, and just waiting for the Expedition to go live before I dropped this. So I'm hoping that this has come out on the Friday of the new Expedition. The new Expedition would have been Monday the 2nd of March, so I'm hoping this comes out on the Friday of that week. If it hasn't, and it's the week after, I'm sorry. Life. I'm going to go through all the patch notes. I'm going to add in some video, some visuals, and some clips I got from the initial update that came out. Oh, man, this is going to be a nightmare at the time. I would record this later, but I've already put it off for like 3 hours because of it. Attention Raiders, violent hurricanes are sweeping topside, forcing new strategies for low visibility combat, powerful gales, and hurtling debris. Scouts have spotted 2 new archetypes in the Rust Belt, and we advise caution while the storm runs its course. But those who know how to read the weather will find opportunity in the chaos. So, firstly, really, really cool. The initial times I've touched the hurricane event, I've noticed that grenades don't fly straight. They go with the wind, which is brilliant. When you jump, you get taken with the wind as well. So the hurricane map condition is obviously visually stunning, I think. As much as there's hardly any visuals in it, you can't really see a lot. I just think the effects it has on the shield, obviously the character, everything else, but I can imagine it's a nightmare for PvP, for example. But with that being said, it's not the only thing that came with this update. So we also got 2 new arc enemies, a new project. So for those that did the Expedition, obviously when this update came out, the window was given. So how much you need to earn and get to the Expedition, max, was all there. The fact that we've now hit the Expedition, all of the people that did reset have got so much more to grind now because they've got the project, they've got a raider deck, they've got obviously the Expedition, they've got the new update that came to damn Battlegrounds. With that, there's like a bit of a puzzle. I've not been able to do it yet because I'm pretty sure you need 4 people. Don't quote me on that because, again, I've only seen the new area. I've not been able to do it. But that's in this new part of damn Battlegrounds, which is great. Obviously, we had the Expedition. But the most important bit of the update is the facial hair. Now, I had a comment about this before. Your wish has come true. There you go. We've finally got beards. Only took a couple of months. Embark, what's going on? But we got some cool new stuff. I'll highlight some of the patch notes and then obviously we'll go into the deep dive now. So we got weapon balancing for the Stitcher, Kettle, Venator, Jupiter and Aphelion. The piano is now an interactable object in the world and I have played it. It's got some tunes. I imagine it sounds great when you get all the instruments together as well, so that's exciting. For the PC people, prevented enabling all NVIDIA freestyle filters simultaneously to remove an unfair visual advantage. Feats can now be re-rolled 3 times per day for free, which is quite a cool new feature. Removed PvP feats, updated a few existing feats and added a few new ones. Now this one's quite important because I think Embark have always said that PvP is part of the game, but they don't want to encourage it. Don't quote me on that again and don't take that as gospel that that's what they said, but I'm pretty sure from videos I've watched and things, they don't want to push, like where we had the event the shared watch event where we had to take down all the Ark. I don't think they want to create one, not yet anyway, that is pure PvP focused, because I think they want it to be intense in the raid, but the focus is on obviously doing the quests, Ark, and fighting if you need to. Obviously, not everyone is like that. I've been doing a lot more PvP, like going in and purely focusing on PvP. I think Stella's a really good place to practice, by the way. I need it. But I've had some good times. Got some bobcats and things from the fights. It's been fun. But yeah, I think their focus is on sort of keeping the game balanced in that regard and not pushing everyone to just start shooting each other. Because I think the intensity coming from going in for a specific purpose or just going into a raid to try and get as much loot as you can, and the potential of someone shooting you is much more of a story than just telling people to go in and shoot each other. Zip lines can no longer be placed on carryable objects. That's a shame. I've been catching up on some of Cloaksy and the Burnt Peanut streams, and I know that just over a month ago they were building things out of this. So hopefully they find a workaround, because it was a really fun stream to watch. Mines, traps, and remote flares can no longer be placed on other deployables. So again, that's another one where I've seen people doing sort of like baseball hits with these items, which is really cool. I just hope that there are workarounds that still make it fun but not exploitative. Balance changes. The weapons. In the 1.13 update, we shipped an update that included an optimization fix for our weapons, but as many of you noticed, this had the unforeseen consequence of lowering the total fire rate of semi-automatic weapons. In 1.13.1, we reverted that fix, but something else made it into the update that shouldn't have. Many of you have reported a shadow buff to the weapons, and after investigating, we found that 1.13.1 had inadvertently impacted our weapon input buffers. Where you previously would have to time your inputs to the intended cadence of a weapon to reach its full potential, you could now instead spam click the button, effectively bypassing any skill requirement to learn the weapon's cadence. We want to keep some of that skill expression, but we also recognise that what we had previously didn't feel very responsive. To address that and land in some sort of middle ground, we have since added more levers for us to control the weapon input buffering window on a gun-to-gun basis, and we've adjusted the semi-automatic weapons accordingly. The weapons should now still be more responsive to fire when spam clicking, but the players who choose to pace their shots will see better results. I do like that. That's a really good update. In addition to these changes, we've also been looking into the balance between low and high tier weapons. A lot of you have expressed concerns that some low tier weapons outperform our higher tier weapons at significantly reduced cost, and we're hoping to shift that balance a bit while still keeping some of that flexibility to punch above your weight if you're skilled enough. We're starting by reducing the overall time to kill of the Stitcher and Kettle and increasing the maneuverability of the Aphelion and the Jupiter. We're also taking a second stab at the Venator, which still seems to be dominating a lot of the PvP encounters. Nice. Stitcher. The Stitcher has played its role well as a close quarters weapon that rewards thoughtful positioning, but we found that its fast time to kill can sometimes lead to situations where you're ambushed and killed before you have much time to react. As many of you pointed out, it had a high headshot damage, and that was a large contributor to the problem. The time to kill is often fine when the weapon is aimed at the centre of mass, but when you are close enough to land the majority of shots in the head, we see time to kill numbers that are much faster than other weapons. These changes aim to bring that headshot time to kill a bit closer to the body shot time to kill by both reducing the full spray accuracy of the weapon and reducing the headshot multiplier. So they've reduced the headshot multiplier from 2.5 to 1.75, they've reduced the base damage from 7 to 6.5, and they've increased shot per shot dispersion by around 50%, so it blooms faster. Interesting. The Kettle. The Kettle has been in a bit of a weird place. Its high damage output was intended to be used in a more medium range setting at a more deliberate pace, but we see many of you bringing it up in close quarters and effectively turning it into an SMG. We want to distinguish it from the Stitcher, but we also see that you enjoy the versatility of this weapon. So we're reducing the base damage to bring its time to kill more in line, but we're keeping the high headshot multiplier to see if we can push players to go for more headshots. I like that. Reduced base damage from 10 to 8.5. The Venator. Since the last nerfs to the Venator, we've kept an eye on our data to see how it performs. During this time, many of you have raised concerns that it's still dominating in PvP, and the data has shown that it is one of the highest performing weapons in the game right now. For a weapon of this tier, we want it to perform well, but maybe not this well. We're looking at an overall nerf to its damage to bring down its TTK, and if that doesn't work, we might need to look into this ammo consumption and cost efficiency. So it's going to be reducing the headshot multiplier from 2.5 to 2, and the base damage down by 1 from 9 to 8. The Jupiter. In PvP, the Jupiter does the most headshot damage in the game, but it's quite difficult to hit headshots with it at longer ranges. You're also quite vulnerable when you use it in closer ranges, since missing one shot will make you a sitting target until you either reload or swap weapons. We're increasing how much you zoom when you use ADS to give you a better view of the targets you're trying to hit, and we're reducing its equip and unequip time to make it easier to swap to a secondary weapon to follow up on your shot. So the improved ADS magnification is from roughly 1.9x to 2.2x, improved equip time from 1.2 seconds to 1.05 seconds, and then improved the unequip time from 0.9 seconds to 0.75 seconds. The Aphelion. We weren't quite happy with the previous balancing of the Aphelion. It was intended to be more of a PvP focused legendary weapon, but it couldn't quite keep up with the pacing of many of our other PvP weapons. We've made some changes to make it feel less bulky and a bit more nimble to use to make it more viable in PvP. Reduce the base reload time from 4.5 to 3.5 seconds, reduce the time between shots from 0.9 seconds to 0.7 seconds, reduce the vertical recoil by 50% and improve the ADS settle speed by 35%. Wow. Energy clip is now available by default in the workbench. That's great. Item value and cost changes. The following item values and costs have been adjusted with appropriate recycle and salvaging adjustments. Deadline. Value increased from 5,000 to 6,000. The trader prices increased from 15,000 to 18,000 and added a new arc part as part of the crafting cost. The Trailblazer also had a new arc part as part of the crafting cost. The values increased from 1,600 to 2,200 and the trader prices increased from 4,800 to 6,600. The Wolfpack. Values increased from 5 grand to 6 grand. Great. Added a Rocketeer driver as part of the crafting cost, interesting, and reduced the refined explosive cost. The Vita Spray. Value has increased from 3 grand to 3,400 and added a tick pod as part of the crafting cost. The Showstopper, the value decreased from 2,200 to 2,100. That's an interesting change. Added the Hornet driver as a crafting cost, and then changed crafting component from advanced electrical components to electrical components. Nice. Arc parts sell value has been reduced to better reflect their crafting and progression uses. Content and bug fixes. Achievements. Fixed an issue where the blindsided achievements sometimes did not trigger as intended on the first attempt. Animation. Fixed various animation issues while vaulting. Fixed an issue where some weapons didn't drop magazines during reloads. Fixed an issue where reattaching to a ladder after jumping could distort the climbing animation. Polished equip animations for pistols and hand cannon to better match timing and reduce visual popping when switching from unarmed. Improved arm and weapon positioning when swapping shoulders to prevent visual popping during that transition. Fixed an issue where fall damage wouldn't get applied if the player was in a knockback animation. Polished low health reaction animations for improved clarity, and fixed weapon shake animation incorrectly triggering indoors during freezing weather. It now only occurs outdoors. Having a nightmare. Sorry if I've had people in the background talking outside. I have been doing this with the window open. Not great. Arc. Fixed an issue where surveyors and fireballs could open prematurely before stabilising. Reduced erratic movement of arc parts when they are stuck to a looted item. Hornets now keep their upper armour after being destroyed, making the lootable piece easier to distinguish from wasps. Oh, that is a good change. Yeah, nice. Fixed an issue where the Rocketeer sometimes would not shoot despite having a clear view of its target. Reduced cases where the Sentinel's shots could pass through geometry when its weapon clips into walls at very close range. Audio. Limited bullet sound effects per trigger pull on burst weapons to the burst size to prevent extra shocks from playing. Nice. Reduced audio stuttering on lower spec PCs for smoother, more consistent sound during gameplay. Lowered non-radio voice volumes, in-game dialogue. Fixed an issue where sliding on stairs or debris could cause audio stutters. Scrappy has received your feedback about being too noisy. He will now try to cluck less frequently. I didn't know that was feedback. I've not really noticed him, to be honest. Oh, wow. Reduced overall volume and rebalanced the menu sound effects and music mix for a more comfortable Speranza experience. Maybe they're gearing up for that walkable Speranza that people keep talking about online. Shortened one tube deployment music track that lingered for too long in session. Birds perched on ziplines now screech with correct positional audio when startled. Decreased audio occlusion / obstruction slightly across the board and especially for players, and updated the acoustic guitar music tracks. Whoa, 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 okay, I need to go and play the guitar and find out what they've done, because I loved the guitar. Some of the best jams on there. As you know, I think I did a separate video of just the guitar. Right, cosmetics. The Velare set, or the Valere set, I don't actually know how to pronounce that, sorry, and the Surgeon set have both been added. The Devotee set is coming soon. Added a new facial hair customization option. Yes! Fixed incorrect visor glass material on the Marco's outfit's green colour variant, and fixed various instances of clipping on certain outfits. Great, because we know that both of those last two things were in the pipeline to get fixed for a while. Gameplay. Obviously, we've got the piano. Fixed an issue where interactions could be triggered from too far away, allowing players to open doors, start hatches, or loot items without being nearby. Hold and continuous interactions now cancel when equipping another item or weapon. Fixed an issue where players could become unable to move after being revived with a defib. Again, I've been watching a lot of streams lately, but I'm in a backlog of about a month ago, and this was happening a lot back then. Prevented players from standing on or being carried by thrown grenades and other non-walkable items. No! The Fortnite rocket ride. Oh, what a shame. Added missing gamepad aim assist for sentinels, turrets, shredders and surveyors. Disabled queuing for practice range while in a party to prevent matchmaking errors. Fixed an issue where a downed raider's body could block hatch extraction by triggering a search prompt. That's a shame. Prevented enabling all NVIDIA freestyle filters, which we heard about earlier, and you can now make purchases with seeds and free loadout augments even if your stash is overflowing. Great. General performance improvements, fixed some popping issues, fixed the crash when launching the game with DirectX 11, and fixed a crash that could happen when traversing zip lines. Fixed broken interactions near the top of certain ladders, fixed missing collision on several environment props to reduce clipping and unintended traversal, general lighting fixes across different maps. Buried City, the chance of finding rare loot in chimneys has been lowered slightly during the Bird City condition. Stella Montis fixed multiple collision issues on Stella Montis, the lobby, the atrium, loading bay, train station tunnels and the seed vault to prevent players from reaching out of bounds areas using the unstuck function. Oh, I didn't know they were doing that. And to address shots coming from the lobby ceiling. Oh, blimey. Yeah, I knew about the door in the lobby, but I didn't know all of that stuff. Adjusted night lighting on Stella Montis to improve visibility in darker areas. So they must have gone a bit too far with that. Improved nighttime visibility at the seed vault extraction by adding local lighting. Fixed an issue where lowered spillway bridges still displayed an interaction prompt. Interaction is now correctly disabled, when the bridge is down. And fixed an issue that allowed players to get on top of metro trains. What? I didn't know they were doing that. God, I just got lucky with the PvP I've been doing. Bluegate improved thunderstorm lighting for better visual clarity. Fixed an issue where players could go out of bounds in the Bluegate tunnels. Oh wow. Honestly, these people will find anywhere to get out of these maps. Movement. Adjusted ladder jump off to match vault jump off behaviour, smoothing movement and preventing unintended momentum from rapid inputs. Fixed an issue where sliding could clip through stairs and escalators. They've done some progression updates. You can now re-roll feats 3 times a day for free. Removed PvP feats, as we've mentioned earlier. Added an expedition catch-up system to earn missed skill points from previous runs with an updated UI to track your progress. I love the UI. It's so much cleaner, so much clearer, and the catch-up system is brilliant. I'm saying that because it allowed me to catch up. I think I needed 3.9 million. So by the end of the expedition, I was on 4.2 just in cash. And then I think I just sold everything in my inventory 12 hours before I knew the expedition was going live. Just because I knew I wasn't going to play anymore. Yeah, lovely. Yeah, it was really good. I've got the max skill points now. I like the new icon for the expedition as well, with the 2 stars in it, just to differentiate yourselves in the lobby. It's good. Love it. Fixed an issue where players occasionally did not receive a skill point as indicated in the results screen. This was a frequent issue. I know they've addressed it multiple times, but hopefully this has fixed it. And Candleberries and Bluegate now count towards the Harvest Plants trial. Oh, that is excellent. I didn't know they were counting at all. Oh, that's going to be great. I hope you guys have been seeing some of my other videos, but I am focused on these weekly trials. I need to get as high as I can for this season. I think we've got 60 days now that the expedition's done. Let's go. Quests. Added clearer ping labels for quest-related world objects to improve readability. Fixed an issue where the next objective pop-up in multi-step quests could be missing or show a completed step. It now consistently displays the correct upcoming objective. And fixed an issue where a quest item could appear as world loot without the related quest being active. Blimey, there's still loads to go. Social. When playing in a party, map selection now shows all locations unlocked by the member with the most rounds played. Fixed an issue where previous teammates could appear in the social tab's in proximity list after starting a new session. Added clearer error messages when friend requests fail due to too many outgoing requests or rate limiting. Fixed friends appearing offline when they have more than one platform linked, and added the ability to hide friend requests. That would be huge for those streamers. UI. Item pings for items in containers now appear above the container's interaction point and no longer appear at the wrong location in certain containers. Added a ready up warning when deploying with raider hatch keys into a map with no active hatches. Nice. Added icons to inventory tooltips to show recycle/salvage outputs. I love this feature. This is great. This is just a brilliant quality of life addition to the game. Fixed an issue where squad colours could display incorrectly after squad changes. Fixed a bug where adding a secondary keybind would overwrite the primary keybind in the next round. Updated localization for unique loot from new enemy variants to improve in-game naming and clarity. Improved matchmaking messaging when some party members are still topside. Fixed an issue where end of round health was not correctly shown for all players. It is now clearer when you join a party which party member is topside while you're in Speranza. You can now use the mouse scroll wheel to switch between pages in the Raider deck. Polished UI text and updated translations across supported languages. Added additional ping labels for various quest objects to improve clarity. Fixed an issue where mouse moving could remain enabled despite being turned off, ensuring the setting is correctly applied at round start. Improved the red zipline preview when the zipline can't be placed. Updated login message to clearly explain when access is restricted because the shared account owner has been banned. Good. Fixed an issue in expeditions where the timer could go negative after the departure countdown and the sign up button stayed active. The screen now updates correctly and the button is disabled. Fixed an issue where the repair preview wasn't displayed correctly when repairing items. Crafting and recycling screens now display item costs and rewards in a consistent order for easier reading. The VoIP icon in the HUD will now better visually represent if the microphone is going to transmit or not if you're using push to talk or toggle to talk. I do love that change as well. Much clearer on both the party chat as well as the in-game voice chat as well, the VoIP. Utility. Pop triggers and spotter relays can now be used in quick slots. The spotter relay can now be deployed as a trap that lures nearby arc. The pop trigger can now be deployed to roll forward before briefly exploding. I mean, briefly before exploding. Wow, either way, very cool. Added a new fieldcraft item, the shaker. Let's go. Adjusted the Vita spray so healing applies continuously while in use to prevent exploit cases. Fixed an unintended behaviour with the snap hook causing it to pull players after it had been cancelled. Ziplines can no longer be placed on carryable objects, as we know. Fixed zipline placement on arc remnants that could consume the item or leave it partially placed. Mines, traps and remote flares can no longer be placed on ziplines or other small deployables. And the T3 tactical healing augment now correctly states that healing is applied instantly. VFX. Fixed an issue where Jupiter's wind-up visual could face sideways, making the beam appear misaligned. Fixed an issue where Trailblazer's gas effect could persist indefinitely if interrupted by the Matriarch shield. Again, didn't know that was happening, but excellent. So, the two more notes. We've got the known issues section, and then we've got a little summary on the anti-cheat. So, known issues. Purchase Raider tokens page may appear in front of the inbox and profile page when switching between them. Player animations may appear broken when interrupting a search of the Baron Husk. Certain containers may be unavailable to be interacted with. Ziplines placed onto destroyed arc parts will not appear correctly. Scrappy's batting helmet and the slugger outfit might not appear correctly in the event preview. Comparative study achievement sometimes does not progress correctly after damaging the hanging drone dummies. The unyielding achievement / trophy fails to progress on console when knocking out raiders using the associated prompt. Some unintended VFX can appear occasionally. One of the new arc enemies has an unusable interaction occasionally when destroyed. Yes, I know about this one. This is the new rolling arc that explodes. For some reason, he's got two searchable options. Only one of them is, and that's when they've exploded. And actually when you've killed them, actually. But yes, they are meant to, I think when you kill them, you get two searchable containers that you can actually search. When it explodes on its own, it still spawns two buttons to press, but only one of the arc parts is actually there, if that makes sense. You can't actually search the other one. Flying arc may sometimes appear stuck in idle. Sometimes the embark ID discriminator fails to show. Pressing the left mouse button outside of the item select area closes the item select window in the expeditions menu. Well, there's an additional one here, and this can be what I want the game to change, and it's a really simple one. When I'm playing trios, after I leave that party, if I'm doing random trios, right? It happens a lot when I'm doing PvP. I'll go into Stellar Montis, I'll do trios. crew Phil, and after that we'll all say goodbye. I'll leave, but when we go back to the main menu where it's just me, for some reason Phil's squad then turns itself back off. So I then accidentally sometimes queue up into a solo game, and me, PvP solo, not ready for it yet. So please just keep whatever selection is on. Great. Finally, anti-cheat. When we shared our last update about tackling unfair play, we didn't fully convey the complexity and scale of what goes into cheat detection. Our defences operate on multiple levels. Some checks are simple and definitive, while others are behavioural and data-driven and evolve over time. We also leverage broad gameplay telemetry and machine learning techniques to spot patterns that aren't obvious at first glance. These methods take longer to develop, must adapt as game systems change, and don't always offer instant certainty the way blunt software detections can. We've recently taken action against several different exploits, and we are further tightening our rules and stepping up enforcement. Serious infractions now carry stricter consequences. Strong detections will receive permanent bans right off the bat, which is great because originally they were doing a 30-day, 60-day and then a permanent ban for repeat offences, while others will receive a temporary suspension and a single chance to correct the behaviour. Recent updates to family sharing have strengthened our ability to curb misconduct and streamlined the removal of bad actors from the game. We're preparing to launch a systematic manual review of ban appeals. The game is young and the volume of telemetry is enormous, but this process ensures every case is handled with care as we continue to learn quickly and invest heavily in the precision of our enforcement tools. Our dedicated anti-cheat team works tirelessly to keep the game fair. It's an ongoing fight and we're committed to it. Austin and the arcraiders team. What an update. It is quality. I know that some people had mixed reviews after the recent updates, but I think they were gearing up to this. They were gearing up to the Shrouded Sky. It's excellent. Both the gameplay, but also just the changes to the game. I'm looking forward to some new weapons, hopefully in the near future, but to be honest, the game's got some solid weapons. I play around with quite a lot of them, but maybe that'll be my section for later on in the video. I know this is going to be a long video, guys. I'm really sorry. I'm trying to fight these hiccups at the same time. So if you're still here, great. I'm not going to read too much on the Hurricane, just because that was an update, sort of like a patch notes thing that came out before the update went live. So a lot of people would have got a chance to see it. And to be honest, by the time I'm releasing this video, a lot of people have probably played the Hurricane update. But we've also got that new project. I've saved. I only did the first step in the project. I've saved it for the expedition because I could use all of the loot, which is great. But we've got two new arc threats that I just want to quickly talk about. We've got the Firefly, which is described as a floating nightmare. So it's an armoured flying machine that emits a jet of flame, burning the raider to a crisp until you move quickly or find cover. And then we've also got the Comet, which we were talking about earlier. It's got a bug associated to it at the moment, but this thing's scary as anything. It's a spherical arc machine that calmly patrols the surface until it comes across an unsuspecting raider. You better not let this one get too close, because once it sees you, it will lock on with a frightening focus before exploding with a seismic boom, and it is loud. Fun one to kill. I've not fully worked out how to shoot it yet, but I am working on it. The Firefly is great as well. It's a really good addition. The sounds are brilliant. I truly think this update's excellent. And obviously, facial hair. Need I say more? So, things I want to see in the game. We've got some big updates coming in the next few months. They obviously detailed that in the roadmap. So we've still got a March update to come and an April update. Now that we're in March, it's not long before we get, another sizable update coming through. I would love to see some new weapons. I know they're doing a lot of balance changes to the existing weapon pool, but I think the more the merrier. I think some more loot as well. Obviously the new Ark has delivered some new loot. Bird City delivered some new trinkets and things, but I think the more the merrier again. I think as this game grows and over the years, it's obviously going to have hundreds of different things to loot. I just think the more content that they're delivering in terms of map conditions is excellent, but if they could also bring weapons and tools and things like that, that'll be even better. So what about you? Put your comments down below. Let me know what you would like to see in the game. Any fixes, any bugs that you found as well, feel free to comment those. I'll be sure to include them. Obviously in this video, I've included the legendary beard comment again, because dreams really do come true, guys. Alright, that is long enough. I am sorry for the length of the update, but I hope you guys stuck around. If you did, please drop a like, subscribe if you want to, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Cheers.